Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to 2.1, Solve One-Step Equations. Our SWABAT is to solve one-step equations in one variable. So, first of all, vocabulary equivalent equations. Those are equations that have the same solutions. Isolate, you can find in page 82 in your textbook, is getting the variable with a coefficient of 1 alone on one side of the equation. So, for example, x equals 9. Coefficient would be 1 because you don't see a number in front of there. Or 9 equals x. This is clearly preferred by most people. And then inverse operations, those are that's an operation that undoes another operation. For example, addition is the inverse of subtraction. Multiplication and division, also inverses. Okay, let's look at example 1, if you don't mind. And if at any point in this lesson you are feeling like things are going too fast, you can always press pause for 1, but then you can also rewind if there's something that you maybe missed. So solve each equation and then check your solution. Those are my directions. So I'm looking at the equation. I have negative 18 equals m plus 12. In order to isolate the m, I need to get rid of this 12. So I'm going to use its inverse operation, which would be to subtract 12 on both sides. Same sign, so I'm going to add the numbers and I get negative 30 is equal to m. Great, but I won't box it and make it official until I have checked it. And to check it, I'm going to just plug in negative 30 wherever I see the m. Is this true? Does negative 18 equal negative 30 plus 12? Yes, it is. So now I'm boxing it. Okay, letter B, I have negative 4.4 is equal to negative 4y. And so for this one, I need to get rid of this negative 4 because it's stopping the y from being alone. Maybe it's an introvert and needs some quiet time, like me. So right now it's multiplying, so I'm going to divide by negative 4 and divide by negative 4. And then when I divide this, a negative divided by a negative, we know is a positive. 4 goes into 4. 1.1 time. And then if you're not sure, you can always just do your work over here to the side. And then you get a 1, 4. This is 0. Bring down, bring this up. 4, 1. So you can always use this extra space over here if you need it. So we're saying that these two would cancel out, will equal to y. And then my next step here is to check. So is negative 4.4 the same thing as saying negative 4 times 1.1? Positive, yes it is. 4 times 1.1 is 4.4. So we're good. And then for part C, I have 16 equals w over 8. A little bit of fraction action, but it's a friendly fraction because all I have is w really divided by 8. So to get rid of it, what's the opposite or the inverse of division? Multiplication. So I'm going to times 8 and I'm going to times 8. Can't really do this in my head. I was going to pretend, but I think you guys would see through it. So when I multiplied 16 times 8 on my calculator, I got 128. On the right side, this cancels with this because I can put this over 1 and do some cross canceling. And all I have left is a w. And so does 16 equal 128 over 8? Yes, it does. So now I can box. I'll box this one too to make it feel a little bit more official. All right, I like it. I'm going to put a check mark because I know it bothers some of you. All right, now a little bit more fraction action for us. Solve each equation. Check your solution or check your answer. So for part E, which is weird, A, B, C, I'm going to call this D instead, and this will be E. I have negative 4 equals 2/3 times B. So whenever I have a fraction multiplying to a variable, in this situation, I want to multiply by the reciprocal, which is what? Well, let me give myself a little bit more room. The reciprocal of 2/3 is 3 over 2. I'm going to multiply it over here because what happens, cross cancel, that all goes away. But whatever I do to the right side, I also need to do to the left side. So times 3 over 2 as well. So I'm going to put this over 1, just like I would any other time that I'm multiplying a fraction. And then I would also still like to do some canceling. So just make yourself a little bit bigger here. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 4 2 times. So what do I have left? Negative 2 times 3, which is negative 6, equals B. And then I'll do a quick check. 2 over 3 times negative 6. If you didn't like cross-canceling, now is a good time to start because it's going to make your life a little bit easier. So 3 and 6, 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 6 2 times, and so I'm going to press pause. So I have 2 times negative 2, which would be negative 4, equals negative 4, and that checks out perfectly well. So typically I won't have a 6 and a B in the same problem because mine look a little bit alike. All right, do me a favor, please. Press pause right now and try the next example, this one, on your own. All right, look at me now. If you paused, then this should be the work that you have shown on your paper. And so just double check yours with mine and then press pause and just correct any mistakes that you may have made if you did not get the same answer. But I'm going to trust you to do that. All right, beautiful people, let's talk about my homeboy, Jeremy. Jeremy, I don't know, maybe he wanted some extra money or something. But what he decided to do was to mow some lawns. So Jeremy mowed several lawns to earn some money for camp. That's why he did it. After he paid $17 for gas, he had $75 left over to pay towards camp. Write and solve an equation to find out how much money Jeremy earned mowing lawns. So we are going to use what we've learned in chapter 1 to help us set up an equation for this one. So I like to read the problem, which I just did, and then I like to underline what's important. So a couple things that stand out to me. The several lawns doesn't help me out too much. I don't really care that he's making money for camp. I do care, however, that he paid $17 for gas. It's kind of a big deal. And I care that he had $75 left over. Left over, kind of a big deal to pay towards camp. When I see leftover, it makes me and probably you think of subtraction because you subtracted something and now this is what you have left over. My directions for this problem are to find out how much more money Jeremy earned. So let's make that be my variable. If that's the question, that's going to be my variable. So this is going to be money Jeremy earned mowing lawns. Pretty much your variable is going to be the question. Kind of a good go-to. All right, so what's our situation? Well, we know that he had $75 left over. So something equaled $75. Well, what? Well, we know that leftover means that we had to subtract. And what did we have to subtract? Well, how much he earned is how much he earned. But he also had to pay that $17 for gas. So whatever he earned, he had to subtract $17 from that because that's how much he paid for gas. And so X is how much he earned. We don't know that yet. We can solve this equation now by adding 17. And I get X is equal to 92. So one thing we do is if this is a word problem, we should answer in a sentence. So my sentence is going to be that Jeremy earned $92 mowing lawns. Okay, so if you could, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and take a look at our notes and then just press pause if you need to. Make sure you don't have any gaps in yours, but this is lesson 2.1. Thank you. So 2.2 is about solving two-step equations, so that's going to be our SWABAT. And directions are the same as what we've seen before. Solve, and then check your solution. So we typically, almost always, are going to want to get rid of addition and subtraction before. So then we get rid of the multiplication and division. So for this one, if I'm looking at it, I have this negative 22 equals negative 8 plus 7y. If I wanted to get rid of this 7 right now, I would have to divide by 7, divide by 7, divide by 7. I don't want to do all that. So we're going to get rid of the addition and subtraction first. So plus 8 plus 8. The opposite of minus 8, or the inverse, is to add it. So when I do that, I get negative 14 equals, these cancel out, 7y. From here, I'm going to divide by 7, because the opposite of multiplying by 7 is to divide by 7, and I get y equals negative 2. Now, you're going to trust me, because I did check this, but in the interest of my time and yours, I'm not going to show my check this time. For the next one, t divided by 6 minus 3 equals 8. So I'm going to go ahead and add 3 because I want to get rid of my addition and subtraction first for this one. And I have t divided by 6 equals 11. Let's say I did want to get rid of that 6 first. I would have to say times 6 times 6 times 6. Getting rid of this means I can just do it all in one side, just in one step. So my next step here is going to be to get rid of the 6. It's dividing, so I will times 6 and times 6. If I put this over 1, they cancel. So I have t is equal to 11 times 6, which is 66. Root 66. I do know how to check. So just to show you, 66 over 6 minus 3 equals 8. So 11 minus 3 equals 8. Check. Okay. It's not a lazy thing. It's just I want this video not to be forever. Okay, so this time, typically I would just add 18, but this 18 and the j are being divided by this negative 4. So I want to get rid of this negative 4. And I just kind of gave you a tip. It is dividing. So the opposite of dividing by this negative 4, I can only do it once. So times negative 4 and times negative 4. So now they cancel out. I didn't have to do times negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. Just once, and it's gone. So I have j plus 18 equals negative 32. From here, I'm going to get rid of this plus 18 by subtracting it on both sides. And I have j is equal to negative 50. All right, I'm feeling like I cheated you guys on that, but if you check it, you'll find negative 50 plus 18 divided by negative 4 does equal 8, because you get negative 32 divided by negative 4 equals 8. Check. All right, beautiful. Next, define a variable. That's the first thing, and we've done that from the previous lesson. And write an equation. Did that too, and then they want me to solve. We can do it. So Chip earns a base salary. Sorry about that. Chip earns a base salary of $500 per month. That seems important, so I'm going to go ahead and underline that. I don't really care that he's a salesman, just that he earns $500 per month. In addition to, I'm going to be adding, so addition to that $500 per month, he also earns $90 per product that he sells. If his goal is to earn that's always important because is means equals, is to earn $5,000 per month, how many products? So look at that. There's a question for me. X. How many products he needs to sell? X equals number of products. All right, so let's talk about this then. What is Chip making in a month? So in 1 month, he's making $500. Automatically, Chip gets $500 just for showing up. Not a lot of money, so he needs to do some selling. Well, he needs to sell $90 per, well, he earns $90 for each product. So if he sold one product, he's going to get 90 times 1, $90. If he sold 2 products in the whole month, he's going to get 90 times 2, $180. That's plus the $500 he just gets automatically for showing up in a wonderful suit. So in addition to, so I'm going to put the plus 90 times, well, I don't know if he's going to sell 1 product, 2 products, 3 products, or 4. So 90 times X. That's going to equal the $5,000 that he needs to sell. So then I'll subtract 500 and subtract 500, and I get 90X equals 4,500. Divide by 90, and I get X equals 50. So do me a favor. What I'd like for you to do now is to copy down this sentence and then try to set up part B on your own. Press pause for me and copy down that sentence number 1 and then try to set up part B on your own. Okay, did you try it? So the selling price is, so the selling price is $8.99, and that equals 3x minus 66. Go ahead and solve and then check with me when you're done. Thanks.